the fundamental belief that I have, and I hope that this is a belief that all of you can also take back with you. I'm going to pass this over to Sophia, who will now introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Sophia. I am 11 years old and I'm a huge supporter of learning by doing in STEM. I love programming and crafting and making super cool DIYs. I've been doing that since I was 3, I think. My hobbies are reading, swimming, and programming. Also, I have made many cool projects such as a floating farm and a to talk about herself.
Okay, so it's me. I'm super nervous, so just excuse me if I make a blunder. But okay, let me start. I'm Anjali. I'm 13 years old, and I like to call myself Era 404 because I'm born on the 4th of April, so it's 404. Okay, I'm an almost geek who makes weird projects like a piano playing robot, and I love to clean data. Yeah, I know I'm weird. You know I'm weird. We all know I'm weird. It's okay. And my hobbies are talking to my friends, doing crazy stuff with my Arduino board, and reading all sorts of books from fantasy to thriller to mystery to horror to whatever you name it, I read it.
Okay, that's great. That's great of an intro, and it actually like boosts me to get started. Thanks for the wonderful intro. And before we start, maybe next question I'll ask next question and then get back. So the first question is to Kritika ma'am, and just want to know how it all started from your end. And now we are an educator at Science Center Singapore. You believe in learning by doing, but what has been your childhood days and how it had impacted you now?
So, of course, when I was a kid, and it's the same when most of the people of my generation were kids, we were all encouraged to study and study very hard and get very good marks in our school exams. Because our parents believed, and rightfully so, that getting good marks in school exams is going to lead us to get a comfortable career and a comfortable life, which is still true. Education, formal education, is still very important. But I think there is a lot more to life than formal education, and increasingly, because because of the way the world is working, because of the way we need to think in this world, what we actually need to do is we need to have certain critical skills. And these critical skills include things like how do you think creatively? How do you fail fast? And these skills are something that many of us are not exposed to. So I also was not exposed to these skills when I was schooling. In fact, things like these 21st century skills were not really known back then. So what changed? I think what changed was when I had Anjali. I was browsing the internet quite a lot as a mother. As a working mother, you're always looking for ways to engage your child, and you have absolutely no clue what to do with this little bundle that's sitting there at home and just crying and not doing much besides. So I started reading quite a bit, and I came across many blogs online. And these blogs had so there are plenty of blogs out there on how to bring up babies in a creative way. There's plenty of very good literature out there as well. So one of the most interesting books that I can recommend to parents of young kids is a book that is called Einstein Never Used Flashcards. So it is a sort of the title itself is a dig at the flashcard movement, which I think is very popular in some countries, where they say, you know, you have this little baby, and then you want this baby to learn how to read when the baby is like 6 months old. And the way you do this is like you pick up these flashcards and you flash the flashcards in front of the baby as fast as you can. And they say, hey, babies have amazing memories. And but you flash 1,000 flashcards there, and the baby will remember all these flashcards. And so this baby by 1 year or less than a year will be able to read. And many, well, it could be true, I can't say, but the book Einstein Never Used Flashcards was written by a set of very good psychologists. And the book basically documented how children, especially between the ages of 0 and 5, they grow, and how we can engage them as parents with activities that are cognitively supportive. Now, that formed a great foundation to me as a parent. And based on that, I was also looking at a lot of other resources. And I started my own blog at some point of time. Anjali will talk a little bit about it later. And through this blog, I was also documenting my own adventures as well. So that's kind of where it all started. And I think my husband and I have done a good job with them. So I don't know whether, so I think it's also the belief that they have grown up to be a little bit more than students who just read from the books and think that exams is the only thing in life. There's a lot more. Yeah.
That's great. That's a great start to this, because it summarizes like how it all started, and I think like Anjali is one of the important reason why you start searching for all those things. So part of the credit should also go to Anjali, I guess. So so it also like gets me to the next question. Next question is also like answered by you. So I wanted to ask, like, when did you all start believing learning by doing? Because there are a lot of other philosophies and other things, and this learning by doing is not much appreciated within school, which I was part of. And maybe you could also tell about your schooling. So and other just want to bring some sort of Tamil as well for the audience to connect that you speak so well. So அது நம்ம ஸ்கூல்ல நம்ம பண்ணதே கிடையாது, but now when we are moving and we are like moving out of the school and seeing a lot of other things, we believe that's the most important thing. So quickly, if you want to add anything on that, you can add, and then we'll move to the next question.
Project-based learning is coming up more and more in schools. At least here in Singapore, I see the kids are doing a lot more projects. However, it is considered by and large still extracurricular and not in the form of curriculum. Now, there are a lot of very good TED Talks out there where they talk about, in fact, it's a school in India, and offhand, I can't remember the name, where they actually talk about how the students were actually doing project-based learning.
Okay.
And by doing project-based learning, and they actually did a benchmark, because parents were asking, hey, my kids are doing this kind of learning, and is it valuable? Is it important? Is it, and when they actually did a benchmark, and they said, let's put the kids who were doing project by learning and to do the same exams as kids who are not, and the regular board exam. And if they find out that because of the critical skills that the project-based learning is giving our kids, they actually do better. And I'm sure all of you would have watched Three Idiots, right? The movie. So we know that when you're chasing, you don't chase success, you chase excellence. And we all at least, even if we don't follow the mantra, you do have that that learning that we have, and that's the most important thing. Yeah.
That's great. So okay, cool. So now let's get to the interesting question where we'll start with our DIY girls here. So I'm very curious to know like how it all started. I know like your mom envisioned that she did a lot of research, but it's you who actually started, embraced it, and then you love doing it, and that's the reason you continue doing it. So nobody can't force people to do something that they don't love, but you are doing something with a lot of love. So here, do you remember where all DIY started? Could you share some of special moments? Anybody can go first, and
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start because I'm the oldest. Yay. Okay, so our DIY started almost too long ago for me to remember, because I was a toddler, apparently, according to my mom. So because I was a toddler and I couldn't remember anything, I went to look at my mom's blog and I wasted about half an hour of my time there laughing at myself because I looked terrible in all her pictures. Okay, and you're not seeing that blog. None of you are seeing that blog. So anyway, back to the question. When I was a tiny little toddler, my mom made me invitations to play, which were baskets with all these craft materials stuffed inside. And out of those, we made stuff, like lots of stuff. Some examples were crafted clothespins dolls, you know, those wooden clothespins. Then you draw faces on them and put hair on them. They become dolls, apparently. Okay. And then we also made milk carton race carts where we cut into a milk carton, put wheels on it, put an axle on it, and turned it into a car. And these projects were fun and messy, and they helped me become who I am now, which is an OCD person because I got tired of all the messy paint. I'm kidding, it's fine.
Great, that's great. And from Sophia, if you want to add some points.
My DIY fun started when I was a toddler as well. My mother used to give me and my sister big boxes of paint, and we used to finger paint and make a huge mess. When I was a toddler, we did so many cool crafts and DIYs, but my favorite has to be this edible clay that my mom made, which was either conductive or insulative, and then we could use that to make circuits and learn about electricity.
Okay, that's wonderful. And that's some of the beautiful memories I think you keep carrying along yourself. So again, the next question again is to Anjali and Sophia again. So because I just want to find out, got to know how it all started, but we're all very comfortable because that's the norm maybe here in India the most. So we prepare for exams, we read textbooks even though we don't love it, but we are forced to do it. That's became our more habitual thing. But here you deviated from that and you did something that's more exploratory. There could be some inner motivation in you to try these things. Maybe start, great, it was fun, but for you to keep doing it again and again, what was your inner motivation to do that? What was that spark which made you feel like, yeah, let me try this, let me try that? What was that?
Okay, so you got one tiny little point wrong.
Okay.
So let me start by telling you a story. So a long time ago, in a land far away, it was actually Singapore, but this sounds better. So in a land far away, I was a tiny little innocent person, and I was walking along, minding my own business, doing my own thing, and being a happy kid. Okay, and then one day, my parents decided to catch me, and they prepared me to be thrown into the up and coming industry of technology. So they made me start to learn how to code. And it was really hard and really annoying because I was being made to do something that I didn't want to do. And after a while, I got sick and tired of it. But then one night I was sleeping and I was thinking about my teachers, and I was telling about my teachers to my sister. And then my sister was comparing those teachers I had to my parents. And after a bit of comparison, I realized that my parents were actually really good teachers, and I began to appreciate what they were doing for me. Yes, I know this sounds a bit sappy, but bear with me, okay? And after a while, these lessons that I had, they started to become more fun and more interesting, and I learned to love it. And as you say, I had the inner motivation to keep going.
That's great. I love that story part. So if you want to add something, yeah.
There were a lot of failures when I was doing DIY stuff. I even stopped programming for a year because I was very busy with exams and tests. But I went back to it because of the motivation from my parents. Because they started me off with DIY at a very young age, it actually became a norm for me. And it's just a part of my life now. So everyone has a part of them which is curious They just need someone to bring that part out. And that's what my parents did to me.
Great to hear that. I think it'll be inspiring for a lot of the parents and even kids, because the kids are always natural learners. They're always like doing stuff. So it's just the environment that we need to put, like they're always there. It's just we need to like put the puzzles in and then they're all set. So my next question also, like it's a follow-up to that, because there are a lot of myths uh, coming when it comes to STEM. So STEM, when I say, it's like science, technology, and mathematics, and many people think that it's like only fancy stuffs, robotics, something that they can learn only by going to some workshops, classes, and buying a lot of stuffs. But just want to get maybe Kritika ma'am can also answer that, but she feels her kids to answer this. So Anjali and Sophia, can like you can also break some of this myths in STEM. Maybe you can do it by showing demonstration to our audience. They will also be very happy, or it could be anything. Just want to my audience to understand STEM from you guys.
Okay, so who wants to go first? Put up your hand. Yes, Sophie. Okay. All right.
Yes, Sophia, you can unmute and start.
I have a demonstration which I can show you. This is a COVID map that I made with a programming software called Python. This is very, very, very easy to learn. You just have to go to this website called Code Combat. It's really easy. And yeah, so I'll show you what I made.
Sure.
Hang on 1 second. I'll just share my screen with you.
Yeah. Anything you want audience to know, something like your ma'am said a book and you said a website, you can type in the chat box. I'll make sure that that goes into our Facebook live comments.
Okay. So maybe I'll do the typing.
Sure, I'll show. So this is the map that I made. This actually shows the number of COVID cases around the world, as well as the population of each country. So each country is colored by the population, red for a higher population and green for a lower population. And the icons are colored based on the number of cases. You can click on each icon to show the real number of cases for the day. So I built this all by myself using Python, and it's really, really, really easy to build.
You want to say how long it took you?
It only took me 2 hours.
Okay.
So it's actually quite easy.
It's heartbreak, you know.
No, it's easy.
But how long it's been like you've been learning Python to do this? I mean, there could be some time you've been learning about this, right?
Yes, I have been learning Python for quite a while before I did this.
Okay.
So this isn't actually the easiest thing you can do, but it's good enough. So I have been learning Python for, I think, 6 to 7 years now.
Okay.
Using multiple different sites. But to start off, I really recommend the Code Combat site.
Okay. I think that's already there in the comment. I think people could check it out and sure. Thanks for that suggestion and input. That's wonderful work.
Do you want to show your other project?
Yeah.
I have another project, but the demo is with Anjali, so
cool. I think Anjali
I'm going to let her do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Okay, I'm back. So we have here this red color cloth, okay, and it's been dyed with turmeric and then sprinkled baking soda over. So what happens is turmeric is an indicator, and therefore when you add acids or alkalis to it, it turns into different colors. Since baking soda is an alkali, turmeric turns red. If we add an acid to it, it would turn yellow. Now our test was to find out if the same thing would happen when the cloth was dyed using turmeric. So that's what we have here. We have this nice cloth dyed with turmeric. And I also have this lemon. So what we're going to do is test this works. So let me just put that there. Don't know if you can see it properly. And turns out that it becomes yellow actually, which yeah. I mean, it was a pretty fun experiment.
That's really nice. I mean, like it's from very simple materials in your home, but just want to understand like how this experiment started. There could be some, maybe, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's another story we'd love to listen to.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, right. Amazing. Okay, so another very, very long time ago, in this time in a land not so far away, because that line is getting old, okay. I went to school and I had to go for a competition with my friends. And since they want to shout out, I might as well do it. So, hi Daya, hi Kayla, okay, hi Shreya, hi, whoever else is watching, hi. Okay, done. Thank you, people. So I had to go for this competition with my friends, and we had to come up with an idea. Now, in my school, we have a teacher who, whenever we submit an idea for a competition entry, he rejects it and he roasts it. And he roasts it so bad that we don't ever feel like using an idea ever again or coming up with a new idea ever again. He's a very, very good teacher. Okay? So now I came home and I complained to my mom and my sis and my dad about this. And then my sister came up with this idea. Sophie, maybe you'd like to take over?
So the reason I came up with this thing is I watched a YouTube video on dyeing things with natural dyes such as turmeric and red cabbage, and I was thinking, since turmeric is an indicator, wouldn't it work if the cloth was dyed and then it changed color? So I tried it out and it worked. And this is actually a really good project because it's very sustainable. If it was a normal piece of cloth and you just wanted a different color shirt, you'd have to go and buy another shirt, which would take a lot of materials to make, and that's not very sustainable. But
Yes.
using this cloth, you can just take a piece of lemon or something acidic around your house, then put it on the cloth, and there you go, brand new shirt.
Wow.
So,
That's wonderful way to like advertise this experiment. Yeah, let's do it. So that's great to hear. And I just want to follow up with this because one required Python technical tools, online tools, and the other experiment was very contrast, which it's day-to-day materials. Yes.
yeah.
And it just, maybe you could answer, even your Kritika ma'am could answer, because when you use these kind of materials, obviously like the home will become messy because that's how a lab should be. But whenever we go to school and everything, it should be very organized. That's why like I didn't touch any lab equipments in my school, because my school teachers would scold me if I do something with that. So but when it comes to home, how supportive were your parents to use these materials, and what is the fun part of it, using very simple materials? Yeah.
They are super supportive. Every time I go to school and with my hands full of food coloring, which is a dye which stains your skin, my friends are all like, why are your hands so dirty? Why do your parents let you do that in your house? Then I tell them that my parents let me make a huge mess of the house, and they're so surprised. So,
Okay.
yeah, the fact that my parents are really supportive of the house being messy is really, really vital to me becoming who I am. But even
Perfect.
though we can make the house messy, we do
Mhm.
have to clean it up by ourselves.
Very important point. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, yes. So, my parents, they honestly don't care. They're also making the house very, very messy right now as we
Okay.
speak. But the thing is that as a partially OCD control freak, I like to keep my stuff clean as well. So it's kind of a
Okay.
bit hard to do it, but as she said, the cleanup works.
Great. And I would like to hear from Kritika ma'am now, because even for the host family edition challenge series, so we are designing challenges, as I said, you using very simple materials. I'm sure like while doing that, definitely things will become messy in homes, and even parents who are watching it may have a lot of doubts of how kids alone can do it. We ideally wanted even parents to join with kids and do it. So how was your early days when you're in with the kids doing these wonderful projects? So what was your mindset that okay, it's okay to be messy because that's how it all gets started? So what was your perspective and what you want to tell the parents who are watching this?
Okay, so I learned a lot when I was watching the kids work, especially when they were young, and more so with Sophia, because Sophia is a very, how do I put it, mule-headed person. So when she wants to do something, she wants to do something her way. So I would design these activities for her to do, and I would say, hey, Sophia, here is what this is. Here is this activity that we have. You're supposed to take this thing and you put it here and you will get Y, for example. Okay. And Sophia, being Sophia, would say, I don't want to do it this way. I will take this and I will stick it on the wall, for example. And at first I used to get very stressed because I said, hey, I've spent so much time putting together this experiment, researching on this, and here is this kid, she's not doing what she's supposed to do. And then I just stepped back. My husband was very insightful there, so he said, step back, let's just step back and see what happens. And as I stepped back and I saw that Sophia was actually taking a lot of control herself on what she wanted to do with those materials. And because Sophia is a very vocal person, she always chit-chats, she chats, especially when she was a kid. And even now, she's a bit of a chatterbox. So she used to keep talking when she was working. And by observing her talk, what I realized was she was actually learning a lot more when she was doing things her own way. And her learning outcomes, and in a way, if we step back and look at what is the learning outcome of, okay, as an example, cutting a piece of paper and sticking it onto another piece of paper. So your learning outcome is you want to learn, you have certain gross motor skills that you want to do, certain fine motor skills, you want to know how glue works, and you want to stick it. Fine, that's the activity, right? But as the child was doing the experiment by herself, she's sticking it on the wall, things would fall. When things fall, you learn about what? You learn about gravity. Suddenly it becomes, it's not an art experiment, it's a physics experiment. So it sort of changes, and the kids learn a lot more. So again, it goes back to what I shared earlier about process versus product.
Hmm.
And whenever we do an activity with the children in schools, I believe teachers always have a learning outcome. We also have a learning outcome. The child must learn what is a participle, what is the past tense, and whatever is there in
Hmm.
the thing. But what I think we need to do as parents is to really step back and understand that given that little bit of opportunity,
Hmm.
given that little bit of space and a little bit of time, the children can actually draw their own conclusions and draw their own learning. And that learning that they draw by themselves is a lot more valuable and a lot more long lasting
Hmm.
than the learning that we give them through a given activity.
Very true. Yes,
Mm.
I think that puts it all together, because even I could reflect that whatever education system that we are developing, we adults are doing that and then giving to children.
Yeah.
But what if they design their own uh, learning process? I think it will be a lot of fun, like
So
how you're doing.
yeah. So recently, Anjali wanted to take on learning Arduino, learning one more time. She'd kind of lost track of it over a couple of years because she was busy with other things. And so we were looking at it, and she came up with her own project. You want to show your Arduino project? It's one of those mindless things, and we had so much fun with it. So okay,
Sure,
I'm
we'll
going
also
to
have
mute
fun.
myself so
Yeah.
you can see.
Okay. I have no idea why this happened, but sure, it's right here. Why not? I like it. Okay. So what this setup is so this is a Rickroll box. What it does is whenever someone walks by, it's going to play Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. And why I created this, it's because of a meme. Don't even ask. It's a very long story, okay? Partially a meme, partially my classmates. Okay, let's go. So as you can see, it blasts Never Gonna Give You Up. The volume is kind of low. Not sure if you can hear it properly. And whenever you cover this, it's going to stop playing. Yeah, I like it. Anyway.
That's cool. I really love all those starting points. I know it's like very long story, but we can't discuss this now. Maybe we'll have a separate webinar to discuss the stories, but still it's fascinating because you don't have it to be a bigger purpose to do something. I mean, even a small start,
Yes.
because you love doing it. So I just
mean,
yeah, please.
As long as you have free time and the motivation to do something,
Yeah.
or the idea to do something, it's pretty easy to do, because a lot of times I get stuck because I don't know what to do or where to start.
Okay, great. And yeah, we are to the last two questions and we'll sum it up. We always nearing 40 minutes time. So we have some 8 minutes more to go to complete 45 minutes. So my question to Kritika ma'am is this is very important because I want you to, because as you said in a before thing, so when Sophia was doing something, it was interdisciplinary because she was sticking something, but when it falls, it became science. But in schools, we always learned subjects as separate subjects. I mean, it's like science, math, but when I see in outer world, it's all connected. It's not like this is math, this is science. And that's one of the most interesting fact of STEM. And I just want you to break myths and make audience understand what is STEM and why STEM is for everyone. Many believe that STEM is only for technologists or somebody who's only on the coding side or other side. But why STEM is for every family?
That is a very big question. Okay. I think, okay, let's take a step back. And one of my heroes, who I really like to watch on shows and all that, is this science communicator whose name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I can put that up in the chat if later on, so you all can share it in the comments as well. So what happens is Neil deGrasse Tyson actually shared that when kids come up as very curious, and this has come up quite a lot in what the two girls shared earlier as well. When kids are born, they're born curious, okay? And if we want to keep that curiosity, it doesn't matter if they grow up, if we want them to grow up to be accountants or lawyers or engineers or whatever it is, what we want them to do is we want them to keep that curiosity. Okay? And we want them to understand that curiosity is the first step for them to solve problems. And you are going to have problems, regardless of what field you are in, you're going to have problems, right? Now, if you want to tackle those problems somewhere far into the future, right, you have to learn how to tackle problems when you are young, right? So where am I trying to get to here? So when a child walks and a child falls, you don't stop the child from falling. You pick up the child and you say, okay, go walk again, fall again. Next time you will learn how to get up and not hurt yourself, right? Now, where does STEM come into this picture? So STEM is all about interdisciplinary thinking, right? So you're not thinking of science as science, engineering as engineering, mathematics as mathematics. And somewhere far into the future, when you grow up, you find that, I'm going to have to file my taxes. I don't really care whether I'm a lawyer or something. I'm still going to file my taxes. And to file my taxes, I need to know how to do mathematics. I probably need to know how to use technology. I probably need to know a little bit of engineering as well. And this again, this interdisciplinary thinking, and taxes is just an example. Anywhere, everywhere. I'm at home. I need to. Um, my pipe breaks and it's the lockdown, my plumber is not working, I need to know how to fix it. So you kind of need to have certain set of skills, and STEM is a way. It is not so much a discipline, it is not so much a set of skills, it is a mindset that allows us to think across disciplines. And that is why it is important for everybody to be involved in, regardless of what your career plans are.
That's great. That's a wonderful sum up of what is STEM, because we needed a more understanding so that we follow in the right sense. Because we wanted parents to believe that it's more of interdisciplinary rather than just focusing on one stream and going about. So now we are to the last question, and the last question is for you all, because we when we visit schools, we always see that young kids are very curious. I mean, when we have young babies in our home, they always like natural curious people who loves to explore stuff. But when we, as we grow up, including my situation in my school, I started exploring less when I moved grade up and grade up, maybe because I get too engrossed in exams. But even at that moment, I feel not comfortable to ask any questions when I was in higher grade. But in small grades, we don't care. I mean, we just ask those questions. But I just want to have why curiosity is very important, and how can we sustain it as we grow up, because that's very important even for adults, parents, and even for kids. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get the kids to answer this first. Who wants to go first?
Yay, it's me again. Amazing. So, how do we make sure curiosity doesn't drop? I'm technically not fit to answer this question because, like you, my curiosity also dropped. And everyone goes through it, it's pretty normal. So, when you're born, we have a lot of time on our hands. We can afford to take our time over everything. We'd stop while walking to school, we'd look at the flowers. Oh, wait, we didn't have school. Okay, fine. We'd stop while going out to play, we'd look at the flowers, we'd poke the bees, we'd get stung by the birds. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not making sense. Don't mind me. Okay. And then we'd grow up and we'd go to school and we'd still be curious about things, but we'd have more on our hands and therefore less time to think about them. So we'd have homework, we'd get scolded by the teachers, and we wouldn't exactly find the time or make the time to be curious. And then we'll grow up some more. So we'd get good marks on the national exam, and then we'd think we're high and mighty enough to stop being curious because we know everything. Okay, sorry. This was mom's. She made me put this here. I don't mean it. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, what happens is we just get less time on our hands and therefore start being less curious. Okay, and then we enter the workforce. We go to get a good job, we go to a lot of meetings, and then we dream about the time that when we were young and we were still curious and when we still had the time to be curious. So I know that everyone says curiosity killed the cat, but I think that knowledge revived it. And my advice to all of you is to spend your time being curious while you can, because in the end, you'll be happy that you did.
Cool. That was really nice. Maybe it's like a one line segment. I mean, we're getting to that. I really love what Anjali said now, like one punch dialogue at the end. Yeah. I love that. So maybe like you were giving a tough thing for your mom and your sister. Yeah. Now to go ahead.
I agree that as we get older and older, we lose a lot of our curiosity. I think this is because we get busier and busier, what with exams and tests and everything, and we don't have enough time to stare out of the window and dream about how we can change the world. Also, as we get older and older, our dreams get less wild and more down to earth. This is actually a huge problem because you can't solve problems if you don't have wild dreams. Without wild dreams, you can't make an impact on the world. To keep myself curious, every day I make myself stare out of the window and think about something for at least half an hour. Also, before I go to sleep, I think of one thing I can change, one way I can do it, and one burning question I need answered.
Wow, that really looks like a template that I should start from tomorrow. Yeah, that's great. Ma'am, it finally ends up to you for your version. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's going to be really hard to beat. And
You can't beat it.
no, I can't beat that.
Okay.
Okay. I really can't beat that. I think they summarized it really well. Let me see. Going back to curiosity and why do we lose curiosity when we grow up? I think all of us did. Again, same thing, back again, lack of time. That's the main reason. And one of the reasons why I got back to being curious was because I had the opportunity to work in a lab, to do a research stint for about 3 to 4 years when I was working on my PhD. And that gives us a little bit of time to think, to work on a problem. And the deliverables, the timelines, the pressure is not so high. And again, as Anjali said, when you grow up, you go for all your meetings, and when you're in your meetings, you think about, I wish I had a little bit more time to be curious and learn all these things that I could, and find the time. I think there's a lot of things that can be done by carving out and planning time a bit better and thinking a little bit more. A lot of us spend time in front of the TV when we come back home. We try not to do that. So spend more time learning and thinking about things, and I think that's always good. And I think they did a better job of summarizing this question than I did.
I think we'll be like happy also to be that way. So that's great to have this version. I think like we will record a separate version of this and we will release it so that it really sums up what we discussed all along the way. So quickly, so we are at 12 minutes more to complete 1 hour. So we are like 48th minute now. So we have one small task that we have prepared, maybe to launch the host family edition. So we wanted families to take a pledge. So maybe I could share a screen and maybe Anjali or Sophia can read that and then ask parents to respond. Maybe parents can respond in the comment section of the Facebook Live as well as to our WhatsApp official number to get the family ID to participate in the host challenges. So from Saturday onwards, we'll be releasing one challenge every day with the resources, with the PDF document, with available materials. They can solve it and share it in our Facebook or WhatsApp so that we'll all be happy to learn from each other. That's very important nowadays. So I'll just share the screen and we can launch it officially. And if time permits, we could take some questions. So can you able to see the screen? Okay, superb. So this picture was taken during one of our host challenges where we asked them to make a seed mission. It was like a 2.5 hours challenge where we give them the materials on spot, reveal the challenge on spot. And many teachers didn't believe that they will pull it off in just 2.5 hours because they always believe they need more preparation time and you should have told this previous day itself. But we believe kids on spot are like natural thinkers. They could definitely come up with solution. And this boy particularly made an interesting seed mission that using balloon, other stuffs, common materials. So here, so this is what the family edition is all about. So maybe Anjali or Sophia can read it. I mean, you can forget the number. Maybe parents can note down our official number to send the message. So you can send this pledge in the Facebook comment as well as to our WhatsApp numbers to get the family's IDs. So maybe it would be nice if Anjali or Sophia can read it, yeah, and motivate parents to take that pledge.
Our family supports learning by doing.
That's great. Okay, can you all say it together?
Okay,
Yes.
we'll just use one mic. 1, 2, 3. Try it again. Okay, on 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Our family supports learning by doing.
Wonderful. That's great. So parents can note down these numbers. Parents who are already in the official group can, this is the contact number of the admin, and you can directly send to that. And once you send it, each parent will get a family ID by today or tomorrow. So they are, so that means they'll get those challenges to their WhatsApp numbers itself for them to try it out and share it with other people. So I'm going to stop my share here. And we're almost 51st minute. If you feel like taking some questions, I can ask audience to do that, if
Sure.
that's fine. Okay, so maybe parents, now you can ask questions to specifically to even Sophia, Anjali, or Kritika ma'am. You can type their name and ask those questions in the comment section so that I can read it for them. Yeah.
So we have a lot of people working on this in the background, right? To make this happen.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the team behind this while we're waiting for questions?
Sure, that'd be my pleasure. So there are a lot of members because Infinite Engineers, we have Jaykant and Aravind as our co-founders working on different projects, but we all have one particular goal to make the experiential learning to more people. So the host is a project which I'm heading. Jaykant recently kickstarted with another new project that again deals with integrating science and arts together. It's more of theater and science together in an online medium now, because since we need to rely on Zoom now. So, and Aravind works on Atal Tinkering Labs, which is gaining momentum in India because government is funding schools on setting up innovation labs. So it's not like a computer lab or a science lab. So it's like an innovation lab where you have all these equipments related to problem solving, right from Arduino to breadboards, even non-tech stuffs and all those stuff. So Arvind is working on that, and a lot of government schools in India are getting applied for that, and they're selected, and we are empowering those schools to get those labs. So it's like a long journey ahead, but we are enjoying it, and then looking forward to impact more students.
Okay, I saw some questions being flashed, but now I've kind of lost them. How do we get back to the questions?
I'll do that, ma'am.
Okay.
So okay, there are a lot of questions. Okay. So somebody asked Sophia, like, what is your first DIY?
Okay,
Maybe
I'll
it's
mute
very
myself.
difficult to.
Okay, she's trying to remember.
Yeah.
So I really don't remember my first DIY because I have done so many of them.
That's
But
very
I
yeah.
have a lot of favorites. So can I just talk about one of my favorites?
Sure. Yeah.
So another one of my favorite DIYs is this pottery wheel that I made out of the tire of my bicycle. So when you spin the wheel, you can use clay to make different kinds of cool looking pots. It's really, really fun.
That's great. Okay. So we have another couple of questions. I know there are more questions. We'll need to stick on time as well. So one parent has said we will not have enough items. Maybe she was pointing that what if there are not enough items, even considering this quarantine time, but what will be your suggestions for them? And next, how are you managing the time? Maybe for doing these projects.
So I think maybe I'll handle the question on how to manage time, and then Anjali can handle the question on not having enough items. Okay. So time-wise, as I said, I think it's important to sort of segment your time. And we ran into this problem sometime when Anjali was in primary 3 and Sophia was just starting to go into primary 1, and we said, and they were having other things like dance class and this and that, and but and we don't have time. So what happened? So then the three of us, we sat together and we said, okay, let's try to put a timetable. Say, okay, we come back from school at 1, we finish eating at 1:30, we rest for half an hour, we do this, we do this, we do this, and when we put that together, we found that, what do you know, we have huge chunks of time that we actually have. 2 hours here, 3 hours here, 4 hours here, and that's a lot of time. So time is always there. It's just that sometimes we lose track of it. And to be very honest, I do not know why we do that. It happens to everyone, but I think having a little bit of a timetable, a bit of a schedule, it helps also. Yeah. Okay, Anjali, do you want to take the question on items?
So I don't know how COVID is treating you in India, but here in Singapore, our shops are open. And when our shops are open, we're able to buy groceries. When we're able to buy groceries, we're able to get cardboard that comes around the groceries or plastic that comes around the groceries. And whatever little scrap of item that we find, we use it. Okay? You have your paper at home. Out of that, make paper airplanes, make origami. I don't care what you make, whatever you do, have fun. Find something. When you do it, make sure it lets you have fun. Okay? And try not to irritate your parents or whoever you're living with by taking their personal possessions like their comb, their brush, I don't know what you take. Just try not to take it. Unless it's in the name of science. In that case, you're free to take it.
Thank you, Anjali. And quickly moving on to the next question: do gadgets support learning capacity of a child? So one parent have asked if gadgets support learning capacity.
Maybe I get started on that, and then Sophia might have something. Both the girls might have something to say if you want to just chip in. I think there are two ways of looking at gadgets. Okay, I think many of us look at gadgets as something that, okay, I give my child an iPad. Oh my God, what's going to happen to him? He's going to watch movies or YouTube or whatever. But there are a whole bunch of resources that a child can use a gadget for. And there are platforms like, we talked about coding. So we've been using gadgets to help children to code quite a bit. And like you said, many of us think, hey, you can only learn coding or STEM or robotics by going for classes. But having access to some of these platforms, like Code Combat that Sophia shared earlier, that actually enables a little bit of empowerment there. So I think we can't run away from a gadget. And it's, I think many children know how to swipe a screen much earlier than they know how to tie their own shoelaces, whether we want them to or not. So it's just, as parents, I think what we have to do is to just channel that gadget exposure in the correct way. Do you girls have anything to add to that? I think Anjali wants to say something.
Yes. Okay. So by gadget, what do you mean? Like, would you refer to a microboard or a, how do I do it? An electronic device such as a laptop or an iPad? If you mean a microboard, go play. I don't care. If you mean an electronic device, okay. So it's time for a story. So a long time ago, when I was, you're welcome. A long time ago. Okay, when I was in primary 4, that's fourth standard for you guys, I think. Yeah, when I was in primary 4. My mom showed me this video by this channel called 5 Minute Crafts. Okay, that day I saw that video. I wanted to find out on which application she got it, which channel it was. I asked her for permission whether I could subscribe to it or not. And from that day, I got addicted to YouTube. It's the truth. It's all her fault. Yeah.
Okay, agreed. Yeah. So I think we're getting a lot of questions. I think we need to we need to end this as well. Maybe we could reply later as well. But a couple of important questions. That one ma'am has asked that her kid is like more fascinated with Lego blocks during his primary age, but now he has moved into Minecraft. That is more of a digital version, and she was like concerned about it. But what is your take on the journey?
Okay, Sophia can say something.
So everyone keeps talking about STEM, right? STEM has this huge engineering aspect. When you do Minecraft, you're doing a lot of engineering. Even though it seems like a game and it seems like you're just playing with stuff on it, you actually learn a lot about engineering through Minecraft. And it also brings out a lot of your creativity. It lets you think outside the box. So Minecraft is actually quite a good game to play, but we should not play it too much, or don't play too many video games.
Okay.
We should try and take whatever engineering knowledge that we got out of playing Minecraft and try and put it in real life. Try and make an engineering project to show that you're learning something. So the best way to learn is actually to do projects. Every once in a while, do a project, test out how much you've learned, how much more you think you should learn.
Perfect. That's very valuable insights from you, Sophia. Thanks for that. And we'll take one last question, because I know there are a lot of questions. Anjali and Sophia have a lot of fans here. They wanted the parents wanted you to teach Arduino, and they wanted you to take some classes, I guess. So I think we need to check out the comments. So I think your fans are growing here as well. One important question that one person had asked was, because you would have faced a lot of difficulties, a lot of failures along the way, because it's not easy. It's not a formula where you do calculate and result comes. Here it takes a lot of effort, a lot of perseverance to stick to that project. And how you handle those resistance, and how you solve it and continue the journey. So who's going to go first?
Basically, the main motivation for me when I'm doing a project is thinking about the end result and how cool it will be, and how much I can surprise people by showing them that I can do something like this. Also, to all the fans who want classes, we're actually already teaching classes. We can do them online if you guys want.
Wow, that's great. I will also join in that class. So I'll be the first student to join. So Anjali wants to add anything to this?
I know. I guess the main motivation for me was also the same as Sophie, seeing the end result. And it was also coupled together with the fact that because in my school we're currently learning Arduino, I can go to my teacher and I can say, I did this and I am great and I am awesome.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's a bit of that as well. Tone down a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
And as you said, we're giving classes. We can potentially Google Meet you. Potentially.
Okay. So we'll plan those logistic stuffs, and we'll take care of that. So thank you, people. And even though there are a lot of questions, but it would be nice after this video if you could send, as ma'am said, a textbook. A lot of parents are looking for some valuable tools, maybe websites or certain education tools, books, ideas, which you can collate, and we could also like share it to our parents. I think it'll keep going on. If we could answer, we would love to, but we value your time. So we'll end it right here. And I had a lot of fun listening to you, and I'm sure even audience had that by seeing those questions. I can get to know that. So any final words from you? And before that, thanks a lot once again for spending your time and for the valuable session. This means a lot to our community learning here, and we are doing our part with your ideas and suggestions. I think we can do even better. So thank you once again.
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity. We had a lot of fun being part of this as well. It is a very unprecedented situation that we all are in, and especially here in Singapore, schools are going to close early, and the kids are saying, "Hey, there's no library, no playground here. I can't meet my friends, and there is no bubble tea. So what do I do?" And if we want to stay sane, I think getting into and making projects will keep us sane. And so we are trying to sit together. It's what are the crazy things that we can do over this during this couple of months that we're all stuck at home. So I think we will probably be sharing some of our stuff on Facebook as well. So yeah, feel free to cross share. Okay, girls, do you all have anything to say?
I think you got like unmute, and then we can say like bye, and then we can I think we can end this off. Cool. For the first time we are listening all of you at the same time. So
this is going to be horribly echoey.
Yeah, I get. Let's do it quickly. Yeah. Thank you all, and have a safe day, and thanks for inspiration session. So looking forward to have more sessions with Anjali and Sophia. And okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.